Hello again, everyone. Edwin Lerner back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Mars sextile or trine, the ascendant in a natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in the natal chart. They're a little bit concise, and some people may refer to them as snappy. So what I decided to do was make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is, well, if you have Mars sextile or trine the ascendant in a natal chart, one way it may manifest is that you likely generally have a good amount of physical energy. And because Mars and the ascendant have a connection with that, Mars is about vitality and energy, and the ascendant is about our vitality and the physical body. So this aspect can be auspicious for having that physical energy, the vitality, just to do it, for physical, things that require, physical energy, physical, things that require physical activity. And, the thing is, if you have, the Mars or the Ascendant in Sagittarius, it could be something sports related, or, the outdoors, camping, doing something adventurous, higher education, foreign travel, things that involve expanding horizons as some examples. And also, too, this aspect can be favorable for having that energy and vitality, which is Mars for new beginnings, which is the ascendant. Now, let's say if the ascendant is in Taurus, as an example, new beginnings may be tied in, with banking or finance, geology, carpet laying, agriculture, architecture, doing something with music or art, as some examples. And also, too, these aspects can also be positive for generally, being able to, outwardly disagree, which is Mars, and outwardly, and that's the ascendant, what you're projecting outwardly. Disagreeing without coming across as overly combative or disputatious. Now, the thing is, if Mars is in the zodiac sign Cancer, as an example, there may be, certain disagreements that are connected, with home, family-related matters. It may involve some kind of home renovation or something over real estate, or it could even be something simply, over food. As some examples, it could be traditions, as another example. And also, too, you may have the ability with these aspects to express courage, which is Mars, when necessary, being able to express that outwardly. And the thing is, also, too, I would say that, given that the ascendant is connected, with the people prominent in one's early childhood and a grandparent, those people may respect and admire your courage and bravery, as well. If Mars is in Aquarius, as an example, the courage and bravery, may be tied in, with matters with, humanity and human rights, as friends, as some examples. And also, too, you may easily, balance, the activities associated with Mars-related people and those prominent in your early childhood, which is the ascendant. Now, the thing is, Mars-related people can include sexual partners, surgeons, leaders, people involved in law enforcement, or even sports and athletics, as some examples. And the thing about this is, let's say, you have, Mars and Scorpio as an example. Those Mars-related people, one or more, may actually be a Scorpio sun, or ascendant, or simply embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be people that are, resourceful, resilient, empowering, transforming, caustic, incisive, quick-witted, but it sometimes may even be vengeful and manipulative as well. And also, too, you may have that right amount of enthusiasm, which is Mars, for matters pertaining to the self, which is the Ascendant. Now, let's say, the Ascendant is in Gemini, as an example. Matters pertaining to the self can be tied in short journeys, assimilating, disseminating information. It maybe there's a love for mimicry, impersonation, just to be funny, impersonating others. There may be, activities, associated, with things that are intellectual. It could be, mobility, vehicles, manual dexterity, such as working on oil or refrigeration mechanics, refrigerators as some examples. Now, also, too, Mars-related people, may be beneficial to your outlook on life, which is the Ascendant. If the Ascendant is in Sagittarius, it could be an outlook about being positive, seeing the glass half full, being expansive, one in which one should be expanding horizons constantly, being that perpetual learner, as some examples. And also, too, there may be little difficulty in terms of finding the drive and motivation, which is Mars, for making a good first impression, which is the Ascendant, on others. Now, if the Ascendant is in Leo, the impression that one may desire to make on others may often be one which is very confident, self-assured, generous, magnanimous, a person that has a lot of courage and fortitude. It could be one that's very gregarious and creative as well. Now, another thing, too, is that sexual partners, which is Mars, may be compatible, with your outer demeanor, which is the Ascendant. Now, let's say if the Ascendant is in Virgo, as an example, the outer demeanor may be one that's very fastidious or punctilious with details. It could be one that's very punctual, reliable, organized, neat, clean, systematic, methodical, cerebral, as some examples. And also, too, if there's any issues, say, with the head, the skull, the face, muscles, or sexual organs, which is Mars, it's less likely that it would have, an adverse impact on your vitality, which is the Ascendant. Now, let's say if Mars is in Aquarius, as an example, those issues I just described, maybe more intermittent, sporadic, erratic, they may be more unusual. If it's in Scorpio, if Mars is in Scorpio, it might be deeper or require more X-rays or MRIs than most others on average. Also, too, the physical body, which is the Ascendant, may be able to develop muscle, which is Mars, easily. I have this aspect in my natal chart, and when I was actually able to work out vigorously, I was able to, I developed muscle, I felt fairly easily at a pretty good, rate. I have Mars in Cancer making a sextile to my Taurus Ascendant, so you can see where there would be a lot of tenacity with this as well, and a lot of persistence and dedication. Now, another thing, too, generally disputes, which is Mars, in the environment, which is the Ascendant, may be more constructive as opposed to being acrimonious and disputatious. If Mars is in Sagittarius, there may be certain disputes over philosophy, beliefs, opinions, religion, as some examples. Now, another thing about how these aspects may manifest in the natal chart is that it could also be, let's say, auspicious for sports-related activities, which is Mars in one's environment as well, which is the Ascendant. Now, let's say if Mars is in Gemini, it could be manifold sports, or it could be ones that involve quick reactions, such as badminton or racquetball, table tennis, as some examples. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, and we'll learn Sextile.